So we have Ann Townsager, who is the Director of Marketing for Freemodel. And Freemodel is a company that we love to work with here at Elevation. And I'm going to share my screen a little bit to just kind of show you one of the ways that we've kind of built up to collaborate, where Freemodel is, and I'll let Anne kind of get into this a little bit, but they're independent to Elevation Real Estate. They are a kind of design general contractor, they're kind of my listing preparer on demand. They do it all at their own expense, where you just get paid back at the end of the process when the property is sold. Kind of as we have here, it's the maximum sales price with zero risk, because we all know that prepping a property and making it look its best is how we're going to sell it in the fastest amount of time for the highest price, no matter what the market is. And especially now, as the market shifts a little bit, you do have to have a property be able to stand out against anything else that's on the market for it to get the attention of buyers. So Anne, please go ahead and can introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the Freemodel experience from the Freemodel side.
Sure. Yeah. So hi, everybody. As Eddie said, my name is Ann Townsager. Freemodel, just like Eddie said, we do pre-sale renovation. And so we actually have the really unique value proposition of helping real estate agents and taking the project management off of the real estate agent's plate. And then Caroline's house. And then also we sorry, my daughter just walked in from a short day at school. Yes, you have art today. Yeah.
Yeah.
By 3:15. 3:15. Okay. Okay, bye. Sorry, everybody. The joys of working.
That's awesome. Yes, the joys of working.
Unfiltered.
Yes.
Usually a 1 o'clock Zoom call is not interrupted by the dulcet tones of a 4th grade girl, but today they are.
And I also have to let everybody know, we were going to be speaking to John, the CEO of Freemodel today, but he landed this on your plate because he's in an investor meeting right now that he had to do that he couldn't get out of. So,
right. We got told, hey, Ann, you need to do this. So. And happy to do it. So we, take all of the work and project management off of Eddie and other agents' plates. And then we also help the homeowner capture more profits and also take any potential work off their plates as well, because obviously there are life events that trigger the sales of homes, and sometimes those life events come with other responsibilities and things to manage and things to unwind and all that kind of stuff. So the last thing people want to do is be going through a punch list of things to do to prepare a home for sale. So we take all of that off of everybody's plate. We are a service provider. We are a licensed general contractor in the state of California, and we have local project directors who show up, walk the property, develop a preliminary scope of work, present a very detailed preliminary line item bid for the work. And if that the preliminary bid is accepted and the scope looks good, we will go out to our subs and get actual fixed bids that we will then present to the agent and homeowner. And the contract is between Freemodel and the homeowner. And we obviously assume all of the risk and the liability. We are licensed and bonded and insured. So that's our job. Mm-hmm. And we pay for all of the work up front. The seller signs a contract with us, which is just a standard home improvement contract, and a seller's escrow demand in the same amount as the contract. If the work that we do is greater than $50,000 in value, then we also have a ask for a
Just like a lien that goes on the
deed
property.
of the
Yeah.
on the property, and as a just as insurance for us. We pay for everything in advance. We do all of the work. The project director is there to receive any deliveries, to manage the subs, all of the things, frankly, to
And they do
any
the
problem.
design palette too. Like they will source the materials. They will actually, and one of the things that I found great about the project managers is we have supply issues in the marketplace at the moment, and they may have a particular look that they're trying to do on, say, a bathroom that we're updating to be at a nicer level, and they'll go out and they'll find who has it in stock at a better or lower price than what we may have originally been thinking that we can't get delivered for 5 or 6 weeks. So they are, the project managers are tremendous. And then the palette is great, where you get the line item bid, and then you get, hey, we're going to do this, 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 and this, which is great when we're trying to be very tight on a budget too. We're like, hey, what if we don't do that line, but we kind of expand a little bit on this line? And you're very good at being able to control the scope of the work that we're doing. So it's very very organized, very prepared, and on budget. That's the one scenario that I've kind of, you can lose control of these budgets when you get into kind of doing improvements. And with the Freemodel system, I've never had a property go over budget yet. So it's very well organized in that regard. And then you don't charge any interest for this money or making these payments. Isn't that correct? This is basically, it's just, you pay up front, and because you operate more like a general contractor, as all general contractors, if they're in a truck, they throw on at the bottom of the bid a line item for their profit margin. And that's kind of what you do at Freemodel to be able to get paid for what you do.
That's right. Yeah. So we don't ask for any, we don't ask to participate in any of the upside in the sale of the home. We don't, we just are simply a service provider. And just like a general contractor or a restaurant or anything, we mark up the price of the ingredients of our project. We get trade pricing for most, if not all, of the finished materials. So we mark those back up to retail. So they aren't necessarily, the client isn't necessarily paying more than what they would find at Home Depot. They're paying what they would find if
pretty much the same thing if they were trying to do it all themselves. But you're getting it. That's what I love about it, is that we can go and have different individual contractors that we're trying to piecemeal together, and I'm not going to be able to get a better price than what you can offer me on the way you put it together. And it's all coordinated on a defined kind of timeline, and they know, the project managers know, hey, we're trying to get on market by this date. So this is the parameters of what we're working within here. So we need to, if we run into any things, because with construction, there are always things that come up, supply chain issues, or we discover another little issue, like what's a workaround? How can we fix this or not make it and stay on target for our time frame? So
yeah, I mean, a lot of what the project directors do, from my observation as a staff member is obviously they're talented designers and they do a great job choosing things to put in a home that are on trend and frankly, preserve the character of the home and, sort of along the same style lines, like if it's Spanish home or if it's an urban loft, those are different design choices, but they're very, very good problem solvers. And again, like if shaker
Yes.
cabinets are a very popular and standard sort of model style that you would expect to see in lots of modern on-trend kitchens. And if the first vendor for shaker cabinets has supply chain issues, we go to the second one and the third. And we will do our best, absolutely, to bring stuff in on time. And if it's something that's going to be back ordered, we change the project director.
Yeah, we've always adapted. Like we ran into that on a project that's about to go on market this week, where the vanity for the bathroom was something that we had to kind of pivot and find an alternate. And we're on. This is on target. We wanted it ready so the cleaners could go in yesterday, and it's getting staged today, and that did not in any way delay us. So
Great.
Which is awesome. I love it. And with Freemodel, there's no credit checks. As long as the equity exists in the home, Freemodel will come in, and there's really no limit on how big of a job it can be. There is a limit on as the size, like it has to be at least a $10,000 or $15,000 job to kind of get into the process. Anything smaller than that, then Elevation will handle kind of in-house. But beyond that, when you get into these bigger jobs, and a lot of the ones we do tend to be, a lot of stuff with properties are going to be $30,000 to $40,000 to $50,000 to kind of get them ready. But you've had jobs where you've gone all the way up to $150,000 and $200,000.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I think that our high at this point is maybe in the threes or maybe low fours. Wow. to get a home. Again, if I remember correctly, it's a home that was owned and lived in for a long time, and the owner passed away, and it was time there were some, just like anything, just a long list of things that just sort of, deferred maintenance kind of stuff. And then you tack on a new kitchen and a couple new bathrooms, and you get
up there.
Yeah. You start getting up there.
And ultimately when kind of our approach of everything when we get into it then is, what can we spend $1 on with Freemodel where we know we're going to get a $2 return from the marketplace? So, going up to $300 or $400, if we know we're going to get $800 or $1 million back in return for that kind of an expenditure, then we'll both have Freemodel support and Freemodel's kind of just energy and design on that process to be on time and on budget. So which is tremendous. And then the other great thing is the time frame. Like there was a scenario where you sell the property, then you put it on the market. What if it takes a while for that property to sell? Is there going to be any kind of pressure from Freemodel to get their money back, or where is Freemodel in that regard?
So once we basically do our final check and everybody agrees that the project is complete, the agent and owner have a year to sell.
And then 1 full year.
And then a further 35 days to close. So we say that we tell agents and their clients that they have 400 days to sell the property to complete the transaction.
So
400 days. That seems relatively reasonable to me. Certainly Eddie, way more, he's not gonna let anything sit for.
We're not letting them sit around for that long.
Yeah.
But it is, I think it's reassuring because, you know, when we were selling stuff in 2 weeks, you know, it is taking some properties, it's taking 45 to 60 to 75 days to get them sold.
Yeah.
So that timeline is, we've never had anything that it took 400 days, thank God. But you know, I'm sure there are different areas out around there that may experience. Just to know that is the runway is great.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, the reason why we chose that is because it just seems frankly reasonable to pretty much anybody. Like, you have a year to sell this house. We didn't want to negotiate with 3 months versus 4 months, you know, or so we just said, great, let's call a year. And if it's really not selling after a year, then there's something else happening. But
perfect. And actually, just to add that in, because one of the things that I have had from Freemodel, which is a nice scenario, even if a property doesn't need any work, let's say outside of the Freemodel world, to get it on the market, we do have to go in and clean it and stage it and then get it on the market. And we've had scenarios where Freemodel always gives us the property back cleaned. So we don't end up having to get another vendor for that, because that's always part of the project. So we'll have the key handoff day where we get the property clean. But we have had ones where the staging has been included in the bid to kind of get us out onto to the market. So if there is that ability and help there as well. So, well, we're at at our time, and I suppose just to give, when we've just got a couple of minutes left, I want to put it out to anybody, if anybody has any questions. There's the chat feature. You can put in a question in the chat, or you can raise your hand if you have the ability to do that, or just turn on your mic and say, I have a question. So, any questions? I think we have a fairly satisfied group of people here. So perfect. And anything we didn't cover, anything that you want to add in that wasn't mentioned?
No, I mean, we love, our North Star is really about maximizing the sale price for the seller. And that's why it's a really, you know, I think we work, there's like no catch. There's literally, the catch is that we provide a service that people want. Yeah. And so we are thrilled to be partnering with Elevation. And, you know, if and when you have a listing, we can't wait to work with Eddie on it.
Awesome. I love it. And I love working with you guys. There are other providers who kind of are out there, but nobody has, I think, a system as just straightforward and as kind of easy to work with as you do. And then a lot of people have a lot of limits on kind of where they shut things down and what will do and what they won't do. And it's almost more complicated to get involved with them. It's a seamless, the way you can come into the process and just once the workload and the scope of work is agreed to, and then your execution is tremendous and always on budget and on time. So it's hard to say that out there. So that is, for me, what matters, you know. It's got to be good work. It's got to be on time. It's got to be on budget. Well, Ann, you are fantastic. I really appreciate you taking the time today. And I know this got landed in your lap, and I appreciate you being there to communicate and chat with us.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. And like I said, we're We are always expanding. We are in most major areas of California except for Sacramento at this point. So, anywhere Eddie's selling a home, we're there.
You're there with us. I love it.
Yep.
Thank you, Ann. I
Guys,
appreciate it.
nice to meet everybody.
Take care.
You too.
One little question.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking, they're being cheeky. They're asking if I own stock in Freemodel. And I do not own stock in Freemodel. I do not, although they are a startup and it would be a good company to own stock in, but I do not.
Someday, maybe,
someday.
if we go public, you too can own stock.
Yes. Awesome.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.